Billy and his brother weren't as close as they could be, but they spent almost every day together growing up in the 80s. And though he always bullied Billy and tormented him in every way, he'd never forget the day his brother stood up for him at the arcade. They'd go there at the weekends, his brother Carl would meet his friends. They'd play Pac-Man and Space Invaders, but Billy could never play. Instead he'd spend his Saturday watching them hit the buttons, and if he asked to have a go, his brother would just shrug him off, and it was always a no. Billy wandered off that day and he found a token on the floor. A bigger kid snatched it off him, but Billy's brother saw. He came over and pushed the kid back, and he got punched in the face. Before Billy knew what was happening, there was fists flying all over the place. Back then they stuck together, they had each other's back. If you picked on one, you picked on all, and that was just a fact. There were codes and rules and mutual principles, and when they failed, there were punch-ups down the park in arcade weekend brawls. You'd get knocked down and get back up, you'd walk it off and laugh about it. Back then they were made of harder stuff, and their loyalty, you could never doubt it. Billy stood out the way his brother thrown across the air hockey table to the floor. By now his friends had got involved, and his brother was back up for more. The bigger kid also had friends, and now they were crowding round. As Billy's brother pushed that bigger kid, and he fell to the ground. The arcade erupted into chaos. Billy wasn't really sure exactly why, but his brother, for his troubles, came away with a black eye. His leg was bruised and he had a bit of a fat lip, but he was more annoyed because his bomber jacket got ripped. Amongst the shouting and the fighting, it wasn't long before they were pulled apart. Most of them had no idea what even happened at the start, but Billy did, and he would remember it all his life. The day his brother told him he loved him with an arcade fight. Back then they stuck together, they had each other's back. If you picked on one, you picked on all, and that was just a fact. There were codes and rules and mutual principles, and when they failed, there were punch-ups down the park and arcade weekend brawls. You'd get knocked down and get back up, you'd walk it off and laugh about it. Back then they were made of harder stuff, and their loyalty, you could never doubt it.